them tonight.
It's just on this patch, 1.12. Because Vox didn't experience really any changes on this patch, if it isn't banned, you can expect Invincible Armada to try and take that immediately. WEV, first pick, first ban in Game 1 of this best of 3. Now, it's worth noting on this patch, due to the bug with Blackfeather, where he does get 4 times as much healing from a Book of Eulogies, you can pick Blackfeather, but if you use the bug intentionally or unintentionally, you will automatically lose the game. So I don't think we're going to see Blackfeather. It's not worth the risk.
Because you can't buy Book of Eulogies, because it could happen unintentionally, and then you just lose the game. It's just not worth the risk. We do see a Vox ban for WEV, and in turn a Ringo ban for Invincible Armada. So as we were talking about, definitely showing a ton of respect for each team's laner.
And in the one game where Vox was banned against Invincible Armada, Druid did take the Celeste. So it looks like that's what we're going to see again today, and we're going to see a double Crystal Power comp with the Celeste and Koshka. So Sky picked up for Liege, who has played that pick one time so far. The Taka at the roam position is not going to be coming back. It will be a jungle Taka this time.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Got some small buffs, as well as just the way the gold works and the gold streaks work in 1.12 definitely do favor Taka. Can secure those kills very easily and to get that kill streak gold.
All right, we are going to be heading into our first game of this semifinals right away. Welcome to Game 1 here of the semifinals in the VIPL Season 2. It is Korea's WEV going up against their fellow countrymen of Invincible Armada as these teams battle for a spot in the grand final versus one of 2 North American teams, either Gangstars or Ardent Alliance. Bit of an interesting pick, of course, Taka buffs helping him out, and interestingly too, Ardent falling all the way down the draft after the nerfs he had in 112.
Yeah, he got nerfed pretty hard. His Vanguard, I think it was 50% of his health down to 35%. That's an extra 15% that you're not going to get from that shield, or rather that barrier from the Vanguard is A. And also the stun on his gauntlet was 1.5 down to 1.2 seconds long now. So definitely some heavy nerfs to Ardent. I think he's still a good hero overall, but I think those were definitely needed nerfs to get Ardent back down on like that average roam support position.
Yeah, and interesting to see the Koshka priority here. Of course, her early game did take a little bit of a blow, and we do see Wine picking up that early light armor against the Taka. So looking for a more defensive start, it would appear, alongside that Crystal Bit. Ruin looking for a gank right there, doesn't quite land the stun. Lee's just going to go ahead and dodge out of that.
Yeah, Koshka, very fast farmer on her own, doesn't necessarily need that Catherine. We are going to see Puhet respond and come into the lane just to protect Liege a little bit here. And Mango going to do his own farming here in the jungle. Not going to be as fast as Koshka, but can slowly clear those ones as well.
Yeah, I see Wine heading back over to the neutral shop right now. Celeste going with the battery early in the lane just for some more sustain on her energy. So looks like it's a pretty typical farming game here. And I'm curious to see how Invincible Armada is going to play this. If they want to play a bit of a slower style this game and try and get Druid all that farm to which he is accustomed, or whether they're going to play a little bit more aggressively early with this Koshka. So they're looking for some opportunities, just clearing out scout traps though. Each team just feeling each other out right now.
Talking about Arden before, a cracked Vanguard. Arden's big nerfed. He was the most picked hero. Well, he actually got a fight going down here. Puhet taking a ton of damage. They're going to dive and get the kill.
Yeah, they didn't see Taka. So early dive right there, catching out Puhet early with the Catherine stun, and then a nice follow-up from the rest of the team that had just gone back to shop. So now they're going to push Liege around a little bit in the lane, trying to put some pressure down onto the turret. Liege taking quite a bit of damage. Rune will take a turret shot or two. But they can't quite finish off Liege.
Yeah, they're not going to finish him off here, but they have a tremendous amount of lane pressure now. You can see Druid even stopping the lane here, just trying to push it as fast as possible. Puet is attempting to come in and support, but Lees is just going to have to sit under turret and try to farm this wave.
Well, he's got no more potions left either, so he doesn't have any sustain. He has to be very careful about not getting hit by the Heliogenesis like that. Take a look at this replay again.
Yeah, nice little stun there. The core collapse does land as well. And Puet, even with how tanky he is, just not going to be tanky enough once you land those 2 stuns in a row.
Yeah, we're right back into another fight here as well. Druid takes a little bit of damage. Wine going for the dive. Is going to be baited a little bit. Taka's going to finish off that kill. Nice follow-up by Mango. They wanted to go for a dive onto Liege. It didn't quite work out, and now they force him back. Mango coming back in, stealthing in, but there is a flare in that brush, so he'll be seen.
Yeah, nice little job. We're beginning to see Taka back in play. I love it. Such a slippery hero. And Wine just taking a slight step too far forward under that turret, and Taka's going to be able to dive her every single time. So a nice little pickup there. Gonna make it even at 1-to-1 in kills, and these two teams not too far away in terms of gold output. Taking a look at the farm, we do see Druid, of course, up on Liege with that tremendous early pressure in the lane, 40-31 right now on minions.
Yeah, that's he's starting to pull away, as Druid is known to do. We'll see if he actually starts taking some jungle camps here to bolster his CS score. He gets an absurd amount of the gold on the map allocated to him. Not only does he not miss CS, but he has a tendency to take quite a few of the jungle camps as well. So they really do invest quite a bit in Druid. But their push is stopped, at least for the moment. That dive kind of cost them. They probably could have kept just sieging right there and poking with the Heliogenesis, but instead, that death means that Druid also has to go back after taking a bit of damage.
Flare going to go down here in the brush. They do spot both Catherine and Koshka there, I believe, but Koshka backing up and Taka just deciding to go back and farm. Nothing going to really come of it here. And both teams just playing a more passive game. This is kind of what you were expecting to see, Monte Cristo.
I think this is what we're all going to be seeing. It's generally just a more passive game or a more scaling game these days. There's Druid, the one player that we see who uses that stylus to play the game. Can't argue with it. Certainly seems to work for him.
It's the magic stick, man.
His accuracy is second to none. And there's another gank coming down. Liege going to get taken for a little bit of damage, but Ruin and Wine immediately backing out after seeing WEV's counter gank right there. And not dropping the core collapse. So no follow-up there. Stand on a scout trap, take a bit more damage. Mango here on the side does get found out by Ruin. Clear that out, and then dodge out with the movement speed from the Merciless Pursuit.
Yeah. That's Taka's ult to use there. Not a ton of energy still left for him, and Wine does have his ult up at this point in time. They could decide to go for a fight here. We do see double reflex blocks already built on Liege and Mango, preparing quite nicely for this Koshka already. And really the target here is going to be Puhet. If they can catch him out, even with how tanky he is, he's not as tanky as you would expect going for a very early Stormguard banner and just one Oakheart so far. So I think he's definitely the target here.
Yeah, interesting that he picked those items up. Usually you see a couple more early Oakhearts here onto an Arden to take advantage of his health scaling, but it's not going to be the case in this particular game. Broken Myth now done onto Druid, and he has hit level 6. Meanwhile, Frostburn on Lee is just for some more kiting potential, trying to keep the dive of Wine's Koshka at bay.
Yeah, also pretty standard on that Sky regardless. It's kind of interesting to see Reflex Block picked up on Taka even before Attention Bow is completed. Generally, you'll see that rushed for, but as I was talking about before, really just heavily preparing for the Koshka.
Oh, Mango, gonna try and stealth out of this one. Does manage to escape. Was caught in a bit of a 1v3 situation there. And WV is pushing them back off, so no vision right there. Pop to actually find the Taka. Instead, everything returning back to normal. Very passive game so far.
Yeah, Invincible Armada, funnily enough. Druid is still doing his own farming game, but they're being very active on the map at the same time. Not necessarily farming too much of their jungle up until now, going for picks. But as we've seen before, Mango just not getting caught out on that Taka. And had the reflex block just in case. Diving a little bit deeper into this composition, I mean, I was talking about Koshka's stun, but all 3 of them actually have a stun, and if one of them land, you can really link those up and take out anyone, including Arden.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good reason behind the early reflex blocks, because if you can actually just block one, it's unlikely that that core collapse is going to land. With the mobility that we see out of heroes like Arden and Taka and Sky, right? They can just instantly move out of the AoE as it's being set up, so it does make it a little more challenging to get that chained CC in there for Invincible Armada. But Invincible Armada just taking it slow, and we know how well this team, how patient this team is, and how well they can just stack these very small incremental advantages to create a large snowball. But Lee's doing a good job of staying up in CS right now. He has closed that gap a little bit.
He's doing a good job of just clearing the wave instantly with the Sky. Very easy to do once you reach overdriving that B ability. And still both teams really just posturing around this gold mine as the first objective here, besides pushing out these lanes. You can even see Invincible Armada foregoing some of that farm. Looks like WEV is doing a bit of a better job of farming their backs and then getting right back into position to fight just in case near this gold mine.
Yeah, it's just all about that poke right now, and whether some of these stars from Celeste can actually land and soften up WEV in advance. But good scout trap coverage on either side of the gold miner so far. No one really finding any kind of opportunity.
Now they're looking for a pick here, possibly onto Druid, but once again, now that he's level 8 here, Overdrive Heliogenesis is going to be 9 range instead of 7, so can even more safely farm the lane. Doesn't have to get anywhere near that lane, in fact, or anywhere near the brush at that. So with no stuns on the side of WEV, outside of Sky's ultimate, Druid should be very, very safe here farming this lane.
Yeah, they have to go all in with the gauntlet if they actually want to get any crowd control down. So, but like you're saying, with that overdrive, Invincible Armada again moving through the enemy side of the jungle, just seeing if they can create a catch, but they're not going to get a pick just yet. And at this point, you could potentially see Druid just attempting to poke down this Sky and slowly poke down the enemy turret if they wanted to go for a siege. It's just a constant back and forth. Tons of flares used by both teams. Great flare use. They pretty much have had full knowledge of each other's positioning and each other's scout trap positioning this entire game.
Yeah, you can tell that both teams really respecting each other here, not wanting to make the first wrong move at all, just taking it very, very slow. I like what you're saying about the poke of Celeste. I feel like Druid should be doing it a little bit more, because I feel like that's going to be Invincible Armada's major advantage before the fight even begins. Well, here we go.
Gauntlet coming down. Druid is going to run to the outside. Does get stunned. Taka's on top of him already, but Rune is going to still go ahead and stun Mango. There's a Solar Storm. Druid the first to fall. They're going to trade 1 for 1. Sky still up. Ruin is going to fall next. Now, can Wine make this a 1 for 1? No. It is going to be 3 for 2. An ace coming through for WEV in that fight. Druid a little bit too far forward, and a nice gauntlet drop by Poohet, and Liege will be able to solo this gold miner and take a big payout.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Druid deciding to just run straight through. He used his boots, actually, and just decided, okay, not going to reflex block. Maybe it's because of the nerf on the stun. I'm not sure. It's still a long stun. He was still, regardless, able to get that Solar Storm off, but it was just not enough damage. He was not alive for long enough.
You got to believe that's a mechanical mistake, Valdez, that he didn't get the reflex block off in time, because otherwise, why would you pop your boots? If he had been able to kite that a little bit better, things probably would have gone a lot differently for Invincible Armada. As it stands, though, they're only down about 400 gold, so far from a disastrous fight.
Yeah. I like the way that Mango worked out that fight as well. I'm thinking more about this Taka pick, and Taka is generally one of the hardest heroes to deal with if you are playing Celeste. I wonder if they were planning on banning Vox in order to get Druid to pick Celeste and then counter Celeste with the Taka. I think we're going to see a lot more in the future team fights as well. I think we're going to see Taka just running all over the Celeste, and with only really Catherine to try to land a stun to stop that Taka, it's going to be hard to protect Druid here.
Well, in this draft, too, just the way we know Druid plays, like you said, you ban the Vox, you first pick the Sky. Well, he's probably going to go to Celeste after that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, see if Druid has anything else, considering he has only played Vox and Celeste so far in this season of VIPL. All right, here we go again. Gauntlet gonna fall. Druid that time hits the reflex block. Mango stunned on the outside, but there comes the ultimate from Sky. Gets into the back line. Druid gonna unleash the Solar Storm. Mango now on the run. Puhet in the middle of a Koshka and a Celeste, and that is, looks like 2 for nothing in favor of Invincible Armada as they actually managed to get the proper reflex blocks down in that fight and punish the advance of WEV.
Yeah, that was just really nicely played from Invincible Armada. The Fountain of Renewal to keep Celeste alive, and then the Solar Storm coming out with the Eve of Harvest to keep her alive even further. She even gets hit by the stun from Death from Above, but still does not go down.
Well, Wine was all over Sky in the back line too, so Liege having his own bit of trouble right there, but you said it. Fountain of Renewal really doing work in that fight. See, another fight on your screen right now actually is moving up, or you won't.
We're looking at Rune here.
Druid actually died.
Yeah. I think they were pushed in the middle, going for the gold miner here.
They did get the gold miner in the end,
Yeah.
so it actually was a worthwhile trade for Invincible Armada. Druid, in the meantime, is going to pick up that Frostburn, so already at 3 tier 3 items.
Yep, already. No big surprise there. We're going to take a look here. It looks like Mango was just coming in to kill Druid and possibly thwart the taking of this gold mine, but could not quite do much outside of killing Druid.
I mean, that's a pretty nice trade for them, though, considering that they just lost 2 for none. To even take a kill off of the gold mine is at least scraping something back. These teams remain very close, only about 1,000 gold separating them, and no clear advantage really in terms of scaling. Of course, Sky and Celeste both going to do very well in the late game.
Yeah. It's interesting, we see Druid playing this very aggressive kind of item build. He does this all the time. He doesn't necessarily, I don't think I've ever really seen him build an Aegis early on. He always goes for these 3 aggressive items, the Frostburn, the Broken Myth, and the Eve of Harvest, and then starts to consider it. But if you look on the side of WEV, double Aegis, Fountain of Renewal, a Kinetic Shield also built for Mango. He's losing out on a lot of damage that Druid actually has early on in this game.
We're going to dive this. They finally reached under the turret. There's the ultimate after the reflex block is used. Solar Storm going to clean that one up immediately. Beautiful dive from Invincible Armada. Puhet now on the run. He's not going to live through this. And they take another one. Auto attack from Celeste to finish it off. But wow, what a catch right there. They baited out the reflex block with the Catherine stun and then hit him with the Koshka ult right afterwards.
Yeah, kind of an awkward spot there, trying to recall back home, but Invincible Armada jumps right onto you. I think that's just a mistake to recall in the middle of the lane there when you're not 100% sure where Invincible Armada is. So, bit of a mistake, going to lead to a very favorable fight here for Invincible Armada, and they're going to take all of the minion farm on the left side of the map and even take the minion mine there.
Yeah, starting to push this advantage up. They want to start getting deeper map control in the enemy jungle, so power up those minions, or WV has to choose. They're going to try and take this minion mine back, but that's just going to give more gold and experience over to Invincible Armada, so it's a tough choice in that particular situation. Aegis now picked up for Druid, and he will see what he can do for the rest of this game, but that was such a nice dive coming in from Invincible Armada, taking advantage of that very slight mistake by WEV.
Yeah, it was really fantastic. I also liked the timing of the backs, or the recalls rather, out of Invincible Armada. They got the minion mine, some of the backs, and then they all recalled and came back just in time to protect the Kraken, but also to make sure that Druid got the farm in the lane and that he missed almost nothing there. And Druid, I think he's had the most farm I've ever seen him right now. 204 for 16.
He's already 40
up. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's already 40 up in this game over Liege, and Liege managed to keep it up early, but it's been all about where Invincible Armada is on the map. They don't miss minion waves, really, so they can constantly just get those advantages. Puhet's going to get caught out immediately. He's going to try and gauntlet out of this one. Ruin's still in the back. They've got to deal with Mango. Wine is actually going to fall right here to a nice forward barrage. Solar Storm is going to miss from Druid, and now Mango on the pursuit. Liege gets another forward barrage going down. Druid will get jumped on by Mango, and there's a core collapse on top of himself, but Mango not going to fall for it. Druid somehow still alive in this one. Liege going to take some more turret shots right here. And are they going to turn this around? Could be huge. Suri Strike grabs one more. Druid wants that last kill. Heliogenesis gets it. And what a turnaround there from Invincible Armada.
Unbelievable, man. They dove so far for that one, even after taking out Wine. And I think it was just a little bit too far, taking way too much damage from that turret. Lee's going hard trying to get that ace, but unfortunately Druid, his mechanics just way, way too good, staying alive, dodging the 4 barrages, and eventually taking out Sky there with the superior range of the Heliogenesis. Really nicely done. Let's take a look at that replay.
Yeah, absolutely incredible considering how early Koshka fell in this fight. You can see Druid just trying to kite right here.
Yeah, Druid just barely survives. Fountain of Renewal may have just come off cooldown there, but used exactly when it did, and just barely keeping Druid alive. The Eve of Harvest at the end of it also going to help out.
You see that team play though. Ruin actually just with that Fountain of Renewal, having it up at exactly the right time, baiting them into the turret, and then using the item to give Druid that little bit extra sustain that he needed to turn that fight around after WEV overcommitted. Great communication.
And you just see Wine and Ruin dancing back and forth, freezing the lane here for Druid. Really the key team play of this team when it comes down to it. But yeah, that's for sure. Sometimes it's hard to notice something that a Catherine may do in a team fight there, but you hit the nail on the head. Ruin really doing his job to the very bitter end, even though he did go down.
Yeah, we just see Druid now stacking armor just to deal with the Koshka, who is, or not the Koshka, the Taka rather, who is constantly jumping on him. So Druid figuring he only needs 3 of these offensive items and now building more defensively after that. But the Eve of Harvest sustain doing a lot over the course of that last team fight too.
Yeah, he's going to have a full item build here at around 20 minutes once he clears an extra wave to get those journey boots. So pretty ridiculous max items here for Druid, but it looks like WEV.
Warhorns pop. They're going in for the gauntlet. Druid just going to kite out of that one with the reflex block. Now they're going to start putting damage down. Leash gets tied up immediately, and you see the Solar Storm onto the backline. Sky's already down, and Invincible Armada has taken nearly no damage at this stage. Whohead trying to split up and trying to prevent themselves from getting aced, but here comes Ruin around the side. Mango looking for a way to escape without giving up that ace. Will go ahead and stealth into the brush by the minion miner. Can they find him in time? He's still running. There's the back. He's not going to get a chance to actually recall though. And looks like Invincible Armada just going to push into the base.
Yeah, this fight actually doesn't matter. Rune just delaying that recall, not allowing to go for it. And that's going to be it. It looks like this should be the first game going to Invincible Armada.
Yeah, it will be, and there it is. Vein Crystal will shatter, and Invincible Armada taking a 20-minute game, even as Ruin dies in the back, trying to prevent the recall, and that's going to be GG.